Hi, I'm Mitchell Dale and this is Rugby League Week's Friday Arvo Footy. Joined on the couch today by Martin Lenihan from Rugby League Week and Eric Groth from the Cronulla Sharks. Thanks for coming in, boys. Eric, 1 week to go before the triumphant return, mate. How are you feeling?
Mate, I feel good, and there's a good buzz around the joint, so everyone's really excited. I think all the trials out the way now. We've got this weekend off, and then bang into it, mate. It's the season starts and doesn't end for a very long time, so can't wait.
Yep. What can you tell us? Are you in the squad for round one?
Give us the scoop.
Mate, no scoop yet. Sharpie's playing these cards very close to his chest, so I think we'll find out over the next few weeks. In my opinion, I think they'll go with what they had last year if they're fit. So if Beau and Simon and Fecky are fit, I think they'll go with them, and I'd have to work my way into the team, but I kind of expected that, so happy to play on.
Yep. Speaking of the Sharks, big story in Rugby League Week. This week, Andrew Fifita, the star prop. The Bulldogs have joined the hunt for the big fella. We know that the Rabbitohs are keen, the Roosters are keen, the Australian Rugby Union's keen, the Dragons are keen. Well, now the Dogs are in there with it. They're sniffing around him as well. Eric, you spend most of the day with him. What's your gut feel? What's he going to do?
Mate, I'll tell you what, I hope to God that he signs with the Sharks again, because playing a trial next to him the other day and just watching him absolutely run over blokes like they were children. It was like men playing children.
He's a beast, isn't he?
He's a beast, mate. He's a freak. He actually taunts the opposition. He goes, come on, come and get me, come here. And he push them away as they come to him. And it's like a game to him. He's laughing throughout the whole game. He's a really infectious guy to play footy with. So, mate, I don't know. Although I did see him, he had the specs on when he went and met with the union. I think he was trying to act all sophisticated. And I think, what are you doing, mate? He's from out west. Come on, mate. You're not like that, bloody talking to the bloody union. But seriously, if the union are interested in me next year, I'll definitely going to have a chat.
Mitch, I think the biggest issue for the Sharks here, on a serious note, would be, look, we've seen Craig Bellamy in Melbourne wants Cameron Smith to get himself sorted, and I guess these things can be a distraction for a team. So Fifita's under a lot of pressure to get himself sorted, but the Sharks would want it done pretty quick, I guess. Yeah,
that's right, man. Eric, you've renegotiated contracts and spoken to other clubs. How much of a burden is it?
Mate, it gets in your head and you start worrying about that kind of thing. It takes away from what your goal is, well, what your goal should be, and that's to play good football for the club you're at. So the quicker those things get handled, the better. But they do take time, you know. There's a lot of back and forth, and when there's a middleman like the manager, it takes a lot longer than it should. With Fifita, I think he handles his stuff himself, so hopefully it's not drawn out and dragged into the season too long, because I know we'd like to know if we've got him next year. Yeah, that's right. Big story.
Speaking of big stories, I've had a chat to the Mole. I've got a good tip for you a little bit later on in the show. Okay, boys, moving on to expansion. Dave Smith has said that we'll hear something by the end of the year, so that's all good. We're all moving forward. We went up and had a chat to Craig Davison, who heads up the Brisbane Bombers bid for the north of Brisbane. Let's have a listen to see what he had to say.
Brisbane does need more football. With 12 games a year in Brisbane and 108 games in Sydney, there's a very much an unfair advantage there. The Bombers catchment is simply Brisbane and moving north for the Moreton Bay and Sunshine Coast regions. With 3 million people from in southeast Queensland, with one team effectively, or two teams if you include the Titans, there's a big yawning gap in the marketplace for a second team. For every insurance sponsor, car sponsor the Broncos have, we have two knocking on our door that are locked out of the marketplace. From a commercial perspective, if the NRL doesn't fill that gap, fill that void, it'll be filled by AFL, Rugby Union and soccer.
He's mad keen to get a team, isn't he?
He's pumped up, mate. Look, I think the beauty of this would be two teams right there in the heart of Brisbane, a local derby. It'd be an absolute classic. The Broncos fill it every second week. Let's have it full every week, Eric.
Marty McFly, you raised very valid points, but I'd like to see Perth get the nod first. I think they've been ready for a long time. Tony Sage, multi-millionaire miner up there, ready to rock. They've been plans in place, lots of stadium up there ready to rock, mate. Fox Sports News,
good ground.
Yeah, good ground. I think they've kind of done their apprenticeship in waiting, so to speak. So.
Look, I don't think they should have been punted in the first place. It's Rugby League's the only national sport that doesn't have a presence in Perth. We have to change that. Leno, I take your point as well. We need a second team in Brisbane.
Let's go both.
Let's go both. Okay, big news for Rugby League Week this week. Beau Ryan, funniest bloke in footy. He joins the team. He's recorded a little message for everyone out there, so let's have a quick listen to that.
In the arena/viewers, this is Beau Ryan from the Cronulla Sharks. I've come on board with Rugby League Week. I'm here to give you advice on any questions you may have, so write into the guys and I'll chat to you soon.
An advice column from Beau. What would you ask him, Eric, if you could ask Beau Ryan for a piece of advice?
Beau, what I'd ask you is, what do we do when you're telling a crap story and we have to listen to the very end, and when we try and tell our stories, you don't want to listen?
There you go. Over to you, Beau. We'll get his response next week. Boys, I've got to say, big thumbs up to David Smith. This time last year, we weren't too sure how he was going to go. Look, I think we're at the season launch on Wednesday night. He's doing some really good things for the game, throwing it right back to the fans.
He's come a long way since Benji Barber last year, mate. The launch had 600 fans there. First time ever they've been invited. 16 of them got to go up on stage with an NRL player from the 16 clubs. The memberships are buzzing along. I reckon we're headed for a massive year, Eric.
Definitely, mate. Yeah, they should have done that a long time ago, invite the fans. That's why we have a game, so bring it back to them, keep them happy, and
absolutely.
Massive year ahead, can't wait.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, I've got some bad news for you, mate.
What's that?
There's another Folau coming around. John Folau, the younger, not much smaller brother of Izzy, he's coming through at the Eels. He's ready to debut very soon. We caught up with Izzy this week, had a bit of a chat about his not-so-little brother.
Yeah, he's currently obviously at Para at the moment, and he's enjoying his time, under Brad Arthur and getting to train with some really experienced NRL players. But I think we're playing similar positions in centre and wing. I think he's a little bit bigger than me in build, and he's still learning a lot about his own personal game, so he's just enjoying it.
There you go.
Well, I can't wait to have to try and tackle that. Mate, the Folau family, like, I'd love to see the parents, the gene pool, it's just phenomenal. Well, I played against Izzy a few times and that was not fun, and I can only imagine, his younger brother probably being the little brother's a little bit tougher, being picked on all those years, so yeah, really looking forward to that. Killing
it for the Tars, Big Izzy. So, if the young bloke can be anything like that, he's going to be a sensation. Parramatta, they'll love it. They need someone like that, drag a few people through the turnstiles.
Plenty of excitement there in the Eels backline when you've got Will Hopewadi and a guy like Willie Tonga, who hasn't been as fit as he is at the moment for a long time. So, a bit of hope there for Eels fans. Okay, I promised you a mole scoop, boys. Just spoken to the little rodent, and he tells me Steve Price, Dragons coach, 8 weeks to save his job. Dragons get off to a bad start, and it looks like it'll be Ian Millwood, the Illawarra Cutters coach, who'd come in for him. Now, Josh Dugan's already out for 5 of those 8. It's going to make life very tough for him.
Yeah, look, they were very poor in that Charity Shield. That's a big trial. That's a massive game for them. They're usually up for it. Dugan went off. To be honest, they didn't look like they had any idea in attack. Steve Price has had his time with them to get him right. I can see why he's under enormous pressure, mate. It's a club with a lot of expectation, Eric, isn't it?
Definitely, mate. Very proud history at the Dragons. No club likes to lose. The Dragons a little bit more so than other clubs. Mate, I think siege mentality is going to work in their favour here. I know it worked at Cronulla last year with the Asada investigations and the NRL and whatnot. I actually think they'll pull through together with this, with the senior players getting together and kind of make a bit of a fairy tale story out of it all.
Yeah, that's right. Interesting to see. 8 weeks for Steve Price to save his job. Right, that's it for us this week. Leno, Eric, thanks for joining us. Boys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.